This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Mid-Morning Talk with me, Maryam Mkwanda, on Salam Media. It is 12:33 on this Tuesday, the 30th of March, 2021. So if you've managed to catch the documentary Murder in Paris this past Sunday, as well as the Sunday before that, then you would have gotten a little bit of insight on what the documentary is all about. But if you haven't, here's a trailer for it. It is playing on Facebook Live, and you can have a look at it. And I'll be joined by Enver Samuels, who's the director and producer of this documentary, for us to have a chat. So here is the trailer.
The African National Congress is the alternative force, and it's just a matter of time before the ANC becomes the government in South Africa.
That was a major shock to have someone shot like that, and in such a cowardly manner.
La France a été choquée, vraiment choquée.
Dulcie must have been on to something. To assassinate an ANC person in a foreign country is a very big decision for these guys. They could do it in Africa, and they did it quite a lot.
Pourquoi on l'a tuée, elle?
Why?
Why Dulcie at that time?
Parce que la vraie question, c'est pas qui, c'est la question pourquoi.
A cold case brought to life.
Wow. As you can hear from that alone, that this is a powerful documentary. Joining me on the line is the director and producer, award-winning film maker Enver Samuels, to chat about this documentary, Murder in Paris. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and shukran for joining me.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to listeners.
All right, so why did you choose to shed some light on the assassination of Dulcie September?
I thought the story was a very important story. Mm-hmm. In my research, I discovered that Dulcie September, had done a lot of amazing things as the chief representative for the African National Congress in France, Switzerland, and Luxembourg, but for some reason, all these remarkable things that she'd been doing had been sort of put under the carpet. And together with a mysterious assassination, there seemed to be almost silencing or erasure of the name of Dulcie September. So that's one of the primary reasons why I wanted to try and see if I could tell the story.
Mm-hmm. Now, what type of woman was Dulcie September, according to the people who knew her in the documentary?
She was a school teacher. She was a school teacher from Athlone. She was very politicized during the 60s and 50s, and she made the decision, to seek justice against apartheid. She was jailed for acts of sabotage and treason. She then spent 5 years in prison. She had to serve a banning order when she was released, essentially meaning that she was a prisoner in her own house. She couldn't interact in public. She couldn't teach anymore. And after the banning order was finished, after 5 years, she then decided to take an exit permit to leave the country. And taking an exit permit, at the time was you're not coming back home. You're leaving your friends, your family, your loved ones. But you're so strong with your convictions that you're prepared to do this thing.
What led to the murder of Mrs. Dulcie September? Because she was busy with an important investigation.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So Dulcie worked her way up in the ANC. I mean, she was in London, she was in Zambia, then she was posted to France in end of 1983. So she held that position as ANC chief rep from 1980 before, basically, to 1988 March, the time of her murder. So she came into France at a time when the French government was engaged with the South African apartheid government in a lot of sort of activities that were sort of undercover in terms of arms deals, nuclear deals.
Mm-hmm.
You must remember the time South Africa was at war, on the borders, and it needed to feed that war machine with arms and ammunitions. And despite there being sanctions across the board, in particular with regards to military sanctions, the French and the South African government were colluding, despite the fact that there was clear sanctions. They were colluding and working out deals and ways to ensure that they were weaponized.
Mm-hmm. You were working on a reality show in 2018. Then you decided to quit the show and went to France to shoot the documentary. How important was being in France and talking to the people who knew her and bringing this documentary to life?
Yes. So, I mean, it was like, it's one of those decisions where you had a crossroad in your life and you said, do I go left, do I go right?
Yeah.
And I made a decision to drop that show. It was a 5-month contract to go to France because I knew that it was critically important to be there. Mm-hmm. It was the 30th anniversary of the assassination in 2018 in March, and they were having a 1-week celebration of her life. And in South Africa, there was absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a 1-week program of celebration of Darcy September's life. And if you watch the documentary, you see that the funeral footage and the amount of people in the streets of Paris that were lined up to see the hearse drive by. You think, was it a like famous politician, famous musician that was killed? But yet in South Africa we don't really know the Darcy September. So that decision to go was critical in the film being made, the documentary being made, because I was able to access so many of her comrades, her colleagues, her friends, people like her French interpreter, someone that had to go to the morgue to identify a body,
mm-hmm.
And people like that, critical people that play a pivotal role in the documentary.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't, people didn't know much about Darcy September until the documentary, and it was aired on SABC3 on the Human Rights Day, the 21st of
Mm-hmm.
March. Why, is there any reasoning behind choosing to air it on Human Rights Day?
Yes, I mean, I had to motivate quite strongly to the SABC to show the documentary on a significant day.
Yes.
It could have been Women's Day, it could have been Freedom Day, but we ended up with Human Rights Day. I mean, Darcy September fought for us to be where we are today, and she paid with her life. She's a freedom fighter. She's a heroine. She fought against patriarchy in the ANC. So what better way to honor her than on Human Rights Day, a very, very significant day. Darcy in her letters, and a turning point in her political convictions was the Sharpeville massacre that we celebrate on Human Rights Day. That's when she said, this is the path I've chosen, and this is what I'm going to fight for justice for all South Africans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, why should people watch this documentary?
I think people should watch the documentary because we all seem to know about Nelson Mandela,
mm-hmm.
Walter Sisulu, Oliver Tambo.
Yeah.
But, one of my previous documentaries was on Ahmed Timol. How many, also, if you're in the political struggle, yes, you know Ahmed Timol and you know Darcy September. But what about the general population?
Yeah.
They don't really know these people.
Mm-hmm.
So people should watch to know that it's not just the big people up at the top that contributed to getting us where we are today. There are thousands of foot soldiers that paid with their lives to get us where we are today in South Africa.
I guess we only were taught about the people that they wanted us to know, not people like Dulcie September and Ahmed Timol and many other key role players. Since the documentaries have already been aired on the Sundays last week and the week before that, where else can people watch it?
So with Someone to Blame, the Ahmed Timol inquest, that's currently on Showmax, and the Murder in Paris, because it was just the last episode was screened on Sunday. We are in negotiations with the SABC for rescreening. So I would be able to advise you once I know about dates and things. I could let you know.
All right. So, okay. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Samuels, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Right, that was Enver Samuels, the director and producer of Murder in Paris, which was aired last week Sunday and the week before that on Human Rights Day. This tells the story about Dulcie September and the murder behind it. Although it does not shed some light on who murdered Dulcie September, but it does it does help piece together the puzzle. It does not reveal her killers, but it might also help to piece together the puzzle. And that was award-winning filmmaker, director, and producer Enver Samuels taking us through that documentary. If you have any further questions, comments, queries, or suggestions, send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 061 766 0355. Do stay with us. We will be right